to doing this. Okay, welcome back. Today, we're gonna be telling the story of Tin Bin. So the story starts off, we have to go back to late November. Late November is the start of the process where I had the genius idea to build a boat, restore it. That way I'd be able to fish multiple types of bodies. We're talking lakes, ponds, all that type of stuff now that I have boat access. It was a great idea at the start. I did not know what I was getting myself into with this project. So that's how it began. Late November, we started our search for a john boat. We just needed some type of john boat, and hopefully, obviously, in the better condition. Better condition, the better. So we're looking for, not too many holes, not too much rust, stuff like that. We wanted flat bottom. We wanted it the maximum of 12 feet. So we had a very specific specifications, I guess you'd call it, different wants that we wanted. But we also wanted to do this on a complete budget, which happened to be very hard because most of this was coming out of my budget. I don't have a ton of money. So I wanted a fun project to work on over the winter time, over the off season. And honestly, that's why I haven't been posting so much on the channel, because I've been working on this project for close to 3 months now. Dating back, it was late November. I think it was November 29th. And our friends had some property in Luther, Oklahoma. If you don't know where that is in the middle of nowhere. It's just straight up plains. And they had some property out there, and they had known of this old john boat that had been there before they bought the property. And so we didn't know how old it is. We were like, okay, that sounds cool. We're gonna go check it out. So me and my friend Harry, shout out to Harry, he was a major help in retrieving this john boat because it was quite the adventure to get it out from this deserted pond that honestly hadn't been touched in a long time. So we get there. Here's some pictures here. It was buried in mud, just covered. It looked very rusty, which at the time we thought was rust, but it actually turned out to be like a stain from mud, because the mud in Oklahoma, it's like red dirt, so it's like a clay dirt mixture. So basically, we get the john boat, we flip it over. There's not very many holes, and the holes are above the water line, so it's fixable. I knew I wanted it. I was like, let's do it. So once we got it back up into the truck, we loaded up, and we drove all the way back to our house. And then we loaded in our backyard, and that kind of is just where it stayed for about 2 weeks. And so I never really got a chance to just sit down and work on it, but Christmas break was coming up, which we got 2.5 weeks off, and I was like, this is the time. What I did is about 2 weeks later, I washed it down. I didn't get any on video, but I washed it down, got all the mud off of it, made sure there's not any crucial holes that I couldn't fix. After that, brought it in the garage, started work on it. It's a little bit rusty, it's a little bit, a little old and cranky. Got a few holes in it. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna fill in some of the holes. I already washed down, I had a bunch of mud on it. So I just quickly went over it with a brush, got all the mud off. So now we gotta fill in some of the holes and then prepare for sanding and eventually painting. And then after that, we're gonna put basically like a board on top of the front there. So it's gonna be like a little deck so I can fish off the deck. A trolling motor, maybe a back motor, we haven't decided yet if we want that. Clean it up, and it's gonna look really nice. So it's gonna be a transformation video. It's gonna be really awesome. All right, so there's a total of 3 holes on this boat. The first hole is right here. It's just a tiny little sliver. The second hole is down here. It's from a rivet that came out, so we're gonna be fixing that one. That one's gonna be the main one that we're gonna have to fix. It's right here. You see it's from the seat right here, coming into it. So we're gonna try to hammer that back and then put some JB weld in it. So that's how we're gonna be doing it. We're gonna be cleaning up this and then putting some JB weld on it. And then what I did is I water tested it. So if you don't know what a water test is where you fill the boat on the inside complete with water, and then you see if it leaks. And it leaked, of course. About half the rivets in the john boat were leaking bad. And it wasn't a drip, it was a stream that was coming out of the rivets. I was super disappointed. I almost just wanted to scrap the entire project and just give up before I invested too much money in it, because that was a huge thing for me. I didn't want to spend too much money. So what I ended up doing is I ended up researching online, looking at some YouTube videos, and I found that there's this thing that you can do, epoxy resin. So this basically, if you coat it all over these rivets, it's just gonna provide a seal to your rivets. So that's exactly what I did. Okay, after about an hour probably, I finally fixed and went over all these rivets, all of them, even on the sides, even on these little welds at the edges. I did everything. And I still have some resin left, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like, just coat a bunch of it, get some extra sealant on it, maybe go over the rivets one more time. All right, so it has been a few days since I did the epoxy resin. You guys saw that time lapse. And I completely let this thing harden up. It's hard as a rock now. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the second water test, and hopefully, I'm hoping that everything is finally cured and there will be no leaks or little droplets of water at all. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move it out to the grass. I'm gonna water test it. All right, so we have it. Finally, the water is above the water line. So let's go ahead and check down here. And I'm not seeing any droplets whatsoever, but that does not mean that there's no leaks, because we still do have to check for wet spots. Painting was a huge step in the process, and it really got my motivation up. So I sanded the Jumbo all down, got it real nice and smooth and ready for painting, and painting took a while. It was a lot of paint. The paint was probably the most expensive part about this whole entire build, believe it or not, was the paint. And just because you have to get a certain paint, I went with topside aluminum boat paint. All right, so it's been a minute since I've kind of picked up the camera, but I did some work, and now, as you can see, we got the bottom first coat done, and then the inside is completely done. So this is my last coat that I have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this and apply a second coat to this guy, and then it'll all be good, and it will be finally restored. And then we're gonna have to put a deck on it, which is gonna be the interesting and fun part. So yeah, let's get started. All right, y'all. We went to Lowe's last night and we were able to pick up this piece of plywood for our boat. So today we get the exciting job to cut line and outline the deck for our boat. All right, so we finally got done cutting, and we constantly trimming, bringing it back to the cutting board, trying to fit this piece of wood, this piece of decking in here. So we finally got it in here. So now what we're gonna do, and as you see, we also went ahead and took the extra plywood and put this piece as a back piece. So now we're gonna have two decks. It's gonna be really awesome. But one step we have to do is we're gonna seal this wood. And basically what that is gonna do is that is gonna keep the water from getting inside that wood and buckling it and rotting it ultimately. So that's one huge step that we're gonna have to do. So I went out to Lowe's and I bought some Thompson's water seal, just clear wood sealer. And that's just gonna add an extra layer of protection against some water. All right guys, so it's been a minute since we've kind of talked about the boat. It's probably been like 2 weeks since I've kind of worked on it, but we basically got these pieces of wood sealed. So now we're gonna start working on the carpeting and the hatch of it. So basically the general idea is just to have a box right here that's gonna be cut out like a hatch, and we're gonna be able to lift it, put battery, gear, different supplies in it. And I think I did a pretty good job on fitting this in here. It's not perfect, but nothing's gonna be perfect. Today we went up to Lowe's, and we picked up this Crestline granite carpet. And so we're also gonna be doing this whole thing in this Crestline granite grayish carpet. We got 5 feet, so it's 5 by 12 feet. so we got the carpet laid down. I glued the whole underside as you guys saw. So now I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna leave about that much, and then we're gonna cut it, and I'm gonna flip it over, staple this, so that way it's all nice, neat, organized, and then I'm gonna do the same thing in the middle. And then I went ahead, as you guys saw, I cut this, which is the hatch, so this perfectly fits in there. So after we get it all cut out, we're gonna carpet the hatch, and then we're also gonna carpet this back side of the boat right here. So that's gonna have carpet on it as well. Now, I just gotta let it dry, so we'll see you guys when this carpet glue dries. What's up, guys? So it's the next day, and we finally got done carpeting, did the hatch, did everything. So now what we have to do is we're gonna have to put supports under this right here. So you see I have my battery in there, but those little 4x4 blocks, I'm gonna screw into this carpet here, and then that's gonna add some extra support when I'm standing on top of it, so the wood doesn't bow as bad. But it's hard because I have to get the right length, so I have to cut, try to like guess and check essentially to see if this was gonna work. Hopefully I can, and then all we have to do after we mount that is work on the back deck here. And then once we get the back deck all supported, then all that's left to do is mount the trolling motor. And then we should be done, and then we can go test it on our neighborhood pond. We're gonna rip around and see if it floats, see if everything works right the way it's supposed to. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting. Let's get into it. Look at this, people. Elbows, bends, anything. Oh, it feels so good. And look at this. I still need to put a handle on my latch. Look at this. Bang. Take the tackle boxes, load them in here, and you're good, baby. Bang. This thing is sturdy. Came back to this back part right here. If you remember, there used to be a wooden board right there. So I actually angle grinded these nuts off because they wouldn't come off easily. And then I went ahead and painted it. So now I'm waiting for it to dry. But we actually have to go to Ace hardware store, and we're gonna have to pick up some bolts, nuts. And then we're also gonna pick up a bracket to mount a trolling motor part, which is gonna go about right here, so we can mount and cut a trolling motor to the front. And then we're gonna put a 2x4 right here, since we don't have a back motor yet. And then that's what this back deck is gonna rest on. So you'll be able to fish off the back deck and have extra storage. It'll be great. All right, welcome back. Today, give you guys an update on the back deck support. So what we decided to do is a little different from the front deck. We decided to put a 2x4 and bolts it here to the back of our boat. And so we basically replaced that piece of wood. So now this back deck here has 2 inches of rest on that. So now, once that's all pushed in, you can just stand on that and still be supported. And then also, another feature that we like about this is you have all that storage down there. So I can put a bunch of more tackle in there. And then also we have this here. So I didn't show you all this. This is the trolling motor, homemade trolling motor mount that I built. It took me quite a while actually to get the dimensions and stuff. So basically that slides into there pretty evenly fixed, right? And then the trolling motor mounts like this to this piece of wood. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these brackets, I'm gonna screw it into my deck, and then that should be completely supported. And then after that, we are ready to take this out on its main voyage. Guys, I don't believe this is real right now. I legit think, this This is sturdy, working like it's supposed to. Hatch is good. The supports are good. You can stand on the back deck, no problem. This thing is ready for the water, believe it or not. All right, guys, stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna be coming out with the first maiden voyage of Tin Bin here. I hope you guys enjoyed the restoration process. I'm gonna take some pictures and show you guys the before and after. This is incredible. I'm so happy with where it came, and I never thought that one day this boat would look like this. I'm super excited. All the fishing adventures that we're gonna have this summer and spring. Hopefully we catch a 10-pounder in the Tin Bin this summer. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.